fact, you should never eat a Subway right before you go on the radio. I think I found that out. But it was so delicious. Have you gotten to taste your Subway yet?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
What do you think?
It's good.
It's amazing. The girl behind the counter and I had fun putting it together, and I said, yeah, put that on.
Remember I told you that was the original, and like I said, it had meatballs on it? Do you remember me telling you that?
No.
Yeah.
The pizza sub?
Yeah.
Oh, well, when I told her, she was like...
It was basically the meatball sub, but with pepperoni and like
Yes.
more cheese. That's
Yes.
basically what it is.
But as soon as she finished making it and checked me out, she goes, I'm going to go make me one right now. That looks so delicious. And so, anyway, you're welcome. You so deserve it. You've just been working so hard, Richard. And I've got an announcement to make. Of course, do you want me to wait till I talk to you about this before I make this announcement? Does it scare you?
No, I mean, I can still tell you no at any time.
Brother, I hate this. He's going to take out on me what he liked to say to other people. It's not fair. But I did reach out for feedback on what I want to do. And
I know you're going with it. You're good.
Okay?
Just tell people. I don't see what the big deal is.
All right, good. I want to start signing everything I say.
I gotta
on
adjust the camera now.
Tuesdays.
Because I get everything you're saying. All right, now go for it.
No,
You're
you
good.
said- Okay. I want to sign everything that I am saying on Tuesdays for my hearing impaired friends, and then friends who hear, and then if they want to learn sign language, it's good because you repeat so many things again and again, so you could learn just by watching. That's how I learned a lot, by watching The Preacher's Wife when they first started signing. Now, can you get me my hands and everything in the camera? Can you hear me okay, even though I'm off the mic a little bit? Is that okay? So if I put the mic like this and I sign this way?
Man, if only you brought your headset in today.
Oh yeah, if I have my headset.
Well, things are going to change after Friday.
After Friday, we're going to have a new table.
Yeah.
And it will be so fine, and it will enable me to be able to sign without this thing. Poor thing. I'm going to miss it though. So I'm going to I'll put AirPods, or it's not. It's just, what do you call? Is it AirPod that I go look for?
Headphones. Wired headphones.
Wired headphones. Okay. Well, that's a sign for it, and I don't want
Just
those
headphones.
things. Okay. Anyway, so I have reached out to Larry and Yvonne Butler. That's the couple that really taught me everything. The Preacher's Wife has started classes in sign language. So I went to those, and then I found out that it was mostly just for, religious signs and the church signs and things like that. But I wanted to know everything, all the signs. So I made friends with Larry and Yvonne, and they said, well, come over to the house. We'll teach you the street language. I didn't know exactly what that meant, but it sounded interesting. And they said, what you need to know is that a lot of the signs that we use at church, many deaf people may not have seen them or understand them. So you probably need to start spelling more. And I went, ugh, because spelling, I was so slow at spelling. So it really made me, I couldn't wait to do the signs so I didn't have to spell everything. But anyway, they taught me, and I was over at their house like almost every day. Their youngest girl and my daughter were the same age, and so they played, and then they taught me sign language and about every subject. Every subject matter was was covered. And I had no idea. Some of it was kind of embarrassing, but they said if you want to interpret, and especially if you want to interpret at court or in the medical field or whatever, that you need to know all the signs. So I studied and studied and studied. It was great. It was so much fun. And now Yvonne lost her hearing. I think it was about when she was a young age. So she had heard up to a point, and then she lost it. And so her speaking voice was clear and understandable. And so I was able to think that, boy, I am getting so good at sign language because I'm understanding everything she's saying. Stupid, because she was speaking as she signed, and I just thought I was understanding her sign language. She was great. She's a beautiful girl. And so we went out and we went to some restaurant, and we're sitting in a booth, and there was these guys that were sitting behind us, and when they came and sat down, one said to the other one, "Boy, those are good-looking girls, and they're deaf." And so I turned around and I told them, "Thank you," and it startled them. And I said, well, I told her what they'd said, and she loved that. But she helped teach me. She helped me when she taught me about her feelings about being deaf. And I want them to come on the show and talk about it and tell me the stories that they have about growing up and being deaf. They had 2 children, both hearing. And so it was so interesting to go over and see their house and how they lived and how they knew someone was at the door. And how did they know that the TTY was what they used, and now you don't need to because the phones, you can text everything, and so that really helped them. But they had a TTY. It was a big machine that had a coupler in it, and you took the receiver, your receiver, and put it on the coupler, and it was start making all these sounds, and it would type out just the message that the person calling you would say. And so it was perfect. And they could keep their messages, they could keep all the conversations that they had with their friends, and it was on this big piece of paper. And that's how they, were able to converse with each other. Well, it made me feel like, well, then why can't the police station or the firemen have the same machine so that the deaf people could call if there's a fire or if there's a shooting or there's danger or whatever, and let them have that? So that's where I got the idea, like, I need to go find out and research it. And I did. And so our police in Houston's police station put in a TTY, and they said, okay, it's fine. We'll do that. We didn't know that there were deaf people out there that needed that, or how we could get in touch with them. So if that's the case, then I'm going to go to the fire department. And they said, okay, wait. Let us get the publicity first about putting this TTY in the police department, and then go ahead and go to the fire department and explain it to them and let them do it. But let us get the publicity first. So I had a meeting with all the deaf people that came together, and I explained to them what was going to happen, and that they would all be given the phone number to call if they had a dangerous situation or if they needed help. But I was going to have to wait until the publicity happened for the police department before I could tell the firemen that they need to put this in the fire stations. So I was telling them that, and they started laughing because I didn't know that the fire chief of Houston was in the audience. He was watching, and he heard everything I said. So he stood up and he said, okay, it's fine if the police department wants the publicity, let them have it, but we'll start working on putting it in the fire department now. And so if anyone has an emergency and they have a fire, that you can call. So that's how it got started. And it was amazing because to think this was like 1970, I guess about 75. And, they didn't, no one knew about how many deaf people there were in the Houston area. And they told us it was like 1 out of every 10,000 people were hearing impaired. And so that's why Channel 13 thought, well, that's enough, and that'll help us with our licensing if we can have this interpreting going on for the news. And that's how it got started on the news. But Larry and Yvonne Butler are so great, and I can't wait. I'm waiting for them to tell me if it's going to be okay, and they'll be able to travel here, and we can have them on the show. It'll be so much fun. So that's my announcement. I want to start interpreting everything I say on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday, Thursday be just like regular with a guest. And if I have a guest on Tuesday, it'll probably be someone who probably in the deaf community that can help us understand better, because it is a world of their own. And even though with the cochlear implant that was just starting to, they started working on it and testing it whenever I started interpreting. So anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you. And if you have someone in your family that is deaf, hard of hearing, hearing impaired, or that you just want to learn how to sign, then you can join us at 2:00 on Tuesdays. So anyway, and I'll be teaching, some of the signs that we use a lot over and over again. You can learn, and you'll pick it up quickly, I'm sure. Because like Richard right now is watching so intently to make sure. And I know that he'll learn some of the signs. He already knows a lot of signs, but I've told him not to use those inappropriate signs. No, I'm kidding. Oh, he would never do that. I told everyone that I wanted to teach sign language because I wanted to extend the vocabulary of the people who drive on the freeways, and it's true. It's true. They only know like a few signs, and that's it. But anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing, and I hope that you join us and let everyone know about it. But Richard, I had like 37 people that commented or said yes, they wanted to see it, and they gave me a thumbs up and said, go for it. So I'm going to go for it. And we're going to, we'll do it. If it's okay with you. Is it okay with you? Uh-oh.
I mean, I'm really against deaf people, so I don't know if I want to do that.
This is lying. He's lying. No.
Well, they can't hear that.
What?
What I just said.
What do you mean?
How did they hear that?
Because I told them I was signing what you said.
Okay.
I'm
kidding. I'm kidding. I think it's a great idea. I'm just worried that you can't keep up.
With myself?
Yeah.
Well,
because I don't know sign language, so I'm not sitting here telling them what I'm saying.
What's funny is because Marvin Zindler,
yeah,
if you remember him, said the same thing. He went to the news director. We started the same day at Channel 13. And he went to the news director and said, "How do you know what she's saying?" And he said, "Well, because she's an interpreter. She's interpreting the news." And he says, "But you don't know sign language. So nobody knows. She could be saying anything." And so they called me in, and Marvin said, "I know sign language because whenever I worked at the Houston Press newspaper, I learned it." And I said, "Well, okay, what am I doing wrong?" He says, "Well, I don't know. Let me see you sign." And so I was signing some things, and he said, "No, I don't understand those." And I said, "Well, okay, let's start with the alphabet." So we went over the alphabet, and he had about 3 or 4 or 5 letters different. And I was like, "Wait a minute, what is that?" And he goes, "That's a K." And I went, "No, that's a P." And he goes, No, that's a K. Because this is a, I said, "No." So I was trying to tell him, and he was so hard-headed and stubborn. And so the news director said, "Marvin, she's been doing this longer than you have. And so I'm going to believe her." And no one has complained about not understanding her if they were deaf. We've gotten letters, and it's okay. So it was, but we were friends. Marvin and I were friends. And one time, I had to interpret him on a stage, and so we were standing next to each other. It was Marvin and me, and he said, "Cindy, stand further back. That's bothering me. I can't talk and see you moving your hands." And I went, so I had to stand further back. And he goes, "Okay, that's not back far enough. So go ahead and go back further." So and I went back further, and it was crazy. And all the deaf people that were in the audience are like, "What's going on? Why is she standing in the back of the stage?" And I had to explain to him. So when he got to the end of his talk, and he said, "Marvin Zindler, Eyewitness News," that he would end each talk, and at night when he'd end the news. And so I did the big letters, and he turned around, he saw what I was doing. He said, "Are you making fun of me?" And I went, "No, that's how you shout." I let them know you're shouting. And he goes, "Oh, okay, all right, that's all right then." But he was very funny, man. He did a lot of good for Houston, so I don't mean to say anything bad about his reputation. Anyway, okay, so we had, you know what, I found out today that the Supreme Court is making their decision on if the student loans were going to be upheld and let them go forward, and were they legal? And it doesn't look like that's going to happen, because the justices were saying, no, the president really can't do that. That's a Congress act. And so I don't think we can accept that. So anyway, they're looking at it now and trying to make that decision. And so I know that my daughter would be eligible, but I don't believe that's right, because if they forgive the loan for these, students now, it's just, what about the ones that they'd already paid off? They'd already worked so hard to pay off their loans. And what about the ones that it's going to, not qualify? So it's really funny. It's a really difficult decision, because if you have someone that could really be helped by getting $10,000 taken off of the loan, that would be great. But anyway, that was interesting to me, that happened today. Yesterday, I was listening to the radio, and they said now that there's a company that's putting on showers for divorced people. And if you are getting a divorce, they come in and put on a shower, and then they will find you a registry. Like whenever you get married and you write down what you want and like go to Ross, go to, Macy's and get me my gifts. Well, they're saying you can do the same thing with a man that's been divorced and the woman took all of his money, and so he needs a shower, like a baby shower, so he can get the, some money, some, furniture, or whatever he needs. And so, and also like the single mom, the same thing. I think that's going to be so popular. Don't you think that'd be popular, Richard? You don't. This is a sign. I don't care. So you touch your nose like this. And this means I don't care. And that's normally what I get from Richard. And are you on the screen? Do they see you? Oh, why? He's eating. So he usually, normally on Tuesdays, we talk back and forth and just say the craziest things, not from me, but from Richard. He has a very weird sense of humor. But it's fun because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. And anyway, so then I heard that there is a story out there about the killer of the mother and the son, and he's on trial now. It's a big deal. You hear it all the time about the trial of Murdoch. And so they're trying to figure out. He's saying, I didn't kill my son and my wife because I would never do that. But he did so many other bad things with like stealing money from his clients. He's a lawyer. And he has done all these things, lied and lied and lied about what he has done. He was on drugs. He was doing everything. And he owed so much money. So they thought for sure he's the one that killed his wife and his son because of the money he could get. He needed money badly. But he got on the stand and he was so emotional, crying, and it was so sad and all. And it has become like a soap opera about everybody's watching this court case. And so they said, this man, Murdoch, is real tall. He's a tall guy. But they're looking at why he was shot. When this kid was shot, and he was shot at a point where the person who shot him had to have been 3 feet tall because of the way the bullet hit him. It wasn't somebody tall because the trajectory of the bullet was wrong. And so then this man came up, this witness, and said, you know what y'all forgotten about is that Murdoch was on a golf cart the whole time. And that would have put him about 3 feet, up to where if he shot, he could have shot him at that point. It was so interesting. So this court case has turned and turned. So it's just very complicated, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. He's got to be guilty. He has to be guilty. He has to. So anyway, that's in the news as well. And that's the one thing. And the poor people in Ohio. You've heard about the case where the trains crashed and all that, the smoke, all the chemicals that have now in the water and on the land is going into the land, and the people that were exposed to it are feeling sick. They go outside and they just get sick. They get a headache. Everything is happening to them. And so it was really so sad because this is terrible. I mean, this is like thousands of people could be affected by this. And our government had not sent anyone. And so they were mad. They're mad because of how much money our government gives to foreign people, lands, and other countries. And these poor people don't know what to do. And if that happened to us here, I don't know what we do. I think I'd just move, but they can't. They can't move. Everybody can't just get up and go, well, okay, let's go to Florida. And so anyway, I think that it's going to be interesting to see, in 5 years, I think in 5 years, they will be able to tell if all those bad chemicals, if they affected the people. And I think that's where we're going to. I think there's going to be so many lawsuits. I can't imagine. They've already told the train, the company that was in charge of that, said that they've already claimed that they can't be sued. And so that's going to be in court for a while. But it's going to be so long before they figure it out, what really, who's to blame. I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. But if you know, I have a Facebook, my personal Facebook. It's got to be a sign for that, like FB. Facebook is that if you have questions that you might have, or if you want to comment on doing this, but I would love to hear from you. And it's Cindy Robinson Cochran. And that's my personal Facebook page. But if you want to comment on the show, if you want to do that, or send me information about someone that you think might be good for this, on a Tuesday, on the Tuesday program, you can go to the YouTube, like what you're watching on now, and they have a place where you can comment. So let me know. I would love to hear from y'all because this is terrible. And Richard will understand. Yesterday was the first time I figured out how to get back on my personal page. I can see you shaking your head, Richard. I can see you shaking your head. No, I couldn't get on it. Remember you told me these 3 dots. If you'll push this, you said there's 3 dots on the page. If you push that, it'll come up with both your pages. And I kept trying that, but it wouldn't work. But I figured it out finally, what I was doing wrong, and so I got it on. And then on Wednesday, tomorrow, we're going to have Chris Allen. He's like one of the most popular lawyers here in Conroe. And then on Thursday, we have Brianna Donahoe. I think a lot of you a lot of you people know her. She's at church, and I've known her since she was little, like a little girl. She is so smart, and she loves fantasy football, and she loves all the sports teams in Houston, and I love her. She is so good and sweet and kind, and she's so patient with me. And so I'm just telling you that you'll love her. And what's great is I know that on Wednesday and Thursday I won't be signing everything, but there's captioning. The YouTube, why can't I spell that word? Has the captioning so that you can understand everything I'm saying. And it will be easier for you. Probably you're going like, oh, good, put your hands down anyway. I'm so confused. That's not true. Are you confused by what I'm saying when I'm
No.
signing?
But I mean, I imagine that folks listening on FM and podcasts are like, why is she speaking so slow?
I'm not speaking slow.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. Well, maybe when I spell something, I slow down. But that's all right, because everyone that would watch this or would want to watch it because of the sign language would want me to be slower and not sign as fast as I talk most of the time. Don't you feel that's true? I can't find that one. So anyway, I want to ask Richard I want you to talk to me, Richard.
I'm here.
Okay, all right. So you can talk. I'll sign everything you say.
Okay, I believe you.
Really? You just don't know if I'm going to say it right.
I mean, I'm not really worried about what you do.
I know, because you really do see the importance of something like this that will draw the attention to.
I mean, the deaf community and even the blind community have developments coming up every year about improving the quality of life.
They have so much. The technology
and amazing
is absolutely amazing, because I can remember. Do you remember the guy that sang Roger? His first name was Roger. Trailers for sale, rooms to have 50s. Roger. This was in the
Roger Miller.
Roger Miller. He was on Channel 13 one morning, and I was sitting in the room, and he came in. He said, I saw you signing for the deaf people. That's great, but I got to tell you something. I just found out that the TV stations is going to save line 21 for captioning. And so now they'll be captioning on TV, and it'll happen as the people are speaking. And I went, what? And he said, yeah. And this was in 1970. I can't remember the exact year it was. And I thought, there goes my job, because they'll have captioning. But that was the weirdest connection I have with him. But it was great. I was so happy, because now finally, they can watch TV. All the deaf people that I knew, while we go over to their houses, they watch TV. They just didn't know, unless the camera was on their mouth and they could lip read them. But the lip reading was fascinating, except for the fact that 50 and 15. See, I don't know how to do this number. That's 50 and 15. So your lips do the same thing, so they can't tell the difference. So that's why they need you to do like 15 or 50 when you say it, because they don't know what you're talking about. Are you going to pay me $50 or are you going to pay me $15?
Yeah.
So that was the only two numbers that were so similar. But lip reading was great, because we could turn the TV off, and I say, okay, now tell me what they're saying, and they would tell me. It was just like amazing. That's why I thought that was funny when, like, the Astros were, they said they caught them in doing It wasn't lip reading. It wasn't lip reading. What were
Oh,
they?
sign stealing.
Signs. Yeah, sign
Yeah.
stealing. And so, some of these teams would hire people that could lip read and
Yeah.
and do that, and that's how they got past it. That was amazing. I thought that's so great. So lip reading is really cool. And a lot of times when we go to the movies or something like that, I'd have to ask her, "What did he say?" And she said, I think she'd tell me what he said because she could lip read it, but and then I was interpreting the other parts of the movie for her. And I got into signing by signing the sermons. So it was like I was always interpreting, always signing. And the thing that's funny is that people don't understand how much you have to study and do to learn like this language anyway. But if you really love it, you don't mind. But I would read the newspaper and I would spell every word that I was reading in the article, or every time that we were driving, I'd see a sign and I would sign the sign, and it was that's how I really did learn. And I had to be among the deaf people. If you really want to be an interpreter or sign. Learn how to sign, you have to be around the deaf community. But I hope that our sponsor will forgive me for normally I have to not have to, but I have to say thank you to our sponsor, which is the Wootton, Wootton, Wootton Financial Money, Financial Group. They're our sponsor.
Does Chris have a interpreter if they're deaf and they want to get financial planning from Chris?
He can call me.
So you're the lady.
I'll go over there and.
Yeah.
But
everyone needs a financial plan.
Everyone needs a financial planner, and you don't have to be rich to do that. You know, he said he will start you out wherever you are and help you grow that money. And if you need to go to someone who is he's so kind and understanding and calming and will make you feel like, okay, everything's going to be all right. Because money right now is so, the stock market and all that, and he will help you with it. So anyway, Chris Wootton, thank you so much for your sponsorship. And he has about 3 more months left in his sponsorship. So we have to really be good. We have to really be good.
All right.
And you guys, someone call him and tell him you saw this on our screen. Because he, I think that he's doing this because he loves us, and he thinks that this station is a community radio station. It's not for profit. No. So, but he's doing it because he has been working in this community for 21 years, over 20 years. And so he loves it, and he wants to be a part of this. And so he's supporting us. And I'm sure he's going like, what is she doing? What is her hand? No, I'm sure he knows I'm signing. But anyway, so call or not call, text me or FaceTime me on my Facebook page. That'll be great. I know that Yvonne is watching, and I told her, I said, listen, if you'll just correct me every time I do some sign that maybe not be right, I don't know, just let me know, and I'll get better. So I'm going to try and improve. But we're going to try and start this on March 7th, right?
I feel like you already started it.
Well, I did it today because I didn't want to go like, so we're going to be signing everything I say. Okay. So anyway, so I wanted to go ahead and sign.
You already started it every
Okay.
Tuesday.
But we're going to start it officially.
And you'll make sure to let them know if you're not going to do it.
Yes.
What finger would you show to tell him we're not going to do it?
He wants me to.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What if we
love
don't
it.
do this? No, I have to. I'll have to sign at least 6 or 7 shows, and then if something happens to me, if I get sick or something, then they'll show again.
There
right?
you go. Yeah.
Okay.
There you
Or
go.
otherwise, you'll have to sign.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. He can't wait for that. All right. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. And so we wanted to kind of at least start trying to figure out how is this going to work. But I'm going to get the headsets that I can move this away. Okay. Have to go to a break right now. And we'll be right back on the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Every week, people ask the same 2 questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these 2 questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, 1-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran Show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
Path to the Plate is a research-based education program that helps consumers understand how their food choices impact their health by making the connection to agriculture. Learning about how food is grown and produced, and how consumers can make better food choices for themselves and their families, Path to the Plate is all about dispelling myths and misconceptions. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Hi, we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show, and thank you so much for waiting. And listen, you've got to meet this guest I have here.
Aren't you supposed to be signing right now?
No, because I was just signing to see how this would work.
I mean, that's so confusing to our
They didn't know. Nobody had
listening
told.
impaired audience.
Well, I mean, only Yvonne.
They just tuned in. They're having a great time you signing everything, and now you're not doing it.
I thought they were just probably tired of me signing it.
Yeah.
Because you said I was talking too slow. He said I was talking too slow, and when I sign, and I don't think so.
I think you literally just changed your pace right when you started signing, and you're talking to a person who listens to you like every day. And
someone listening to me every day. You think they notice that I changed?
Yeah, you would
my
hope I'd be
pace?
deaf, and I can start listening to you signing because I listen to you every day. But
Okay,
you don't have to
but if
sign.
they're
Cindy.
deaf,
I'm just messing
they
with you.
don't care. And plus, they have it captioned as well. That
Well, we got see, he doesn't have a mic, so this is why we don't let strangers into the studio.
okay.
And then people start talking,
Well, he
and then their
can't talk-
phones are going off. See, this is why we don't let people randomly into the studio, Cindy.
Armando is snuck in here. Armando Nino came in, and you know Armando Nino. He has his own show.
Yeah.
So
Texas
quit coming
Ticket.
in trying to take my audience away from me, or I'll just sign everything and I won't say anything, and then you won't
It's
know
gonna
what
be
I'm
a
saying.
riveting show.
It'll be a riveting show. Shut up.
So you have 2 guests. You got one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. So you have a lawyer coming in tomorrow.
A criminal lawyer.
So we encourage listeners to write in questions
Yes.
on Facebook, the Cindy Cochran Show on Facebook,
Yes.
and then on Thursday you have your friend Brianna Donahoe, who's just just been a fan of the show since you started it.
Right.
So,
She is a part of the
What are y'all going to
admin.
be talking about?
We're talking about the Houston Texans, Astros.
Yeah, she's a big sports person.
Yeah, and fantasy football. And
Isn't that all over? Didn't football just end? So why would y'all talk about that?
no, what happened? She's going to just follow up
Okay.
on how fantasy football went over. She's now working for the Milsteads in HR for the Milsteads.
Like the towing company?
Like
People? the automotive towing?
Yes, yeah. And she said they just love her and they wouldn't mind
Good.
coming over. She's in Conroe now, so it's going to be great. Amy Milstead came on my show when I was at Way More
Yeah,
FM.
way back there.
Yeah, was it Way More FM
No,
or
it
was
with
it?
us.
Okay.
Yeah, because they had I think at that time they just built their new place that's over like Kirkendall area, I think, like Woodlands. They have this huge thing there. And they have towing, they have automotive, they have a lot of different things going on at Milstead.
I'd never seen so many
And then
Milstead.
I think they have the RV one on Fraser where they
Yes,
fix RVs.
yeah, I saw that.
So
Christy worked for him for a while, and so she.
yeah, then they fired her.
They didn't
I
fire
know.
her. I think she.
I'm messing with you.
I think she left on her.
But yeah,
But-
I thought of you this weekend because we went to the Big Top Market here in downtown Conroe. They
Yeah.
had the Big Top Market all weekend, and I looked around and I was like, man, I bet Cindy would love this.
Was it all food?
Well, it's like just a bunch of different little markets, little vendors, and all this silly stuff you buy. Like I can just see you loving that kind of stuff.
If it was food, maybe. I never buy anything. I never buy anything.
Well, I think you talk to people. There are so many people to
Oh,
talk
yeah,
to. That's
yeah.
what I meant. It's
Oh,
like, And
sure.
they're all, it's all strange people because it's like, oh, I make these tables. Like, oh, let's talk to this person. Oh, I make this clothes for babies. Oh, let's talk to this person.
Right.
And then,
That's what I would do, and I'm not afraid. I'm not embarrassed. I've always been that way,
yeah.
so it's okay. But you're the one that's shy. It's so funny for you to be in radio and be so shy as you
I'm
are.
not shy. I don't want to be there. That's why I got sunburned. I took my mother there with my niece and Holly, and I was done after an hour. And I realized the bill of goods I've been sold was like, no, we're not leaving here for 5 hours. So I go, okay. Good thing we're next to downtown Conroe. I just walked over to Foss Brewery. And I'm like, this is where I'm going to be. I'm hanging out here. When y'all ready to go, let me know. And I know they had a great time. I know my mom and my niece had a wonderful time. And
You know what I'm scared of right now is that Andrew, our PI person, and he and I.
PIO, I think it's public. When you say PI, people think of private
Private
investigator.
investigator. Okay. Well, I hate to say PO. The PO is
Personal information. No, what is
information
it?
officer.
Public information officer.
Public.
I think that.
Information.
Actually, I got his card right here. I can just see what it says.
Ugh, I hope nobody call me PO. He's
Yeah,
PO.
public information
Okay.
officer. Shout out to Andrew
Well, anyway,
with the city of Conroe.
Andrew called his wife while I was standing
Yeah,
there.
she's
and,
a big wig.
Yeah, and so they were gonna come on, and I think it may be tomorrow. It may be tomorrow. I gotta find out.
I try to help you, Cindy, to
I know.
coordinate this, but
You said-
you refuse to.
You
allow
said,
me.
"Are you gonna remember?" Remember, you said, "Are you
Yeah.
gonna remember?" And I think I don't remember. It was
So
if it's
for
tomorrow. or not.
Armando, so Armando's in the studio. He's gonna be recording Texas Ticket. Just to let Armando know, Cindy's method of finding people to be on her show is face to face only. No phone number. I don't need a phone number. I don't need an email address. I just want to talk to you. Will you be on my show next Tuesday? See you then. And then she comes in and goes, I think I asked somebody to be here on Tuesday. I wonder who it's gonna be. And it's just
This
luck
is
of the
the
draw.
First time.
As I literally go, hey, you gonna remember that? No.
This is the first time. I'm gonna have to call. He's
You
here
have no
today.
idea. You have no idea.
He's here today,
I
right?
mean, I have no idea what he's doing. He's a busy guy. He's out there. Andrew's one of the. He got his public information job. He's doing stuff for the city. Just let him do that. You're gonna interrupt what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's Cindy for you.
Yes, I would. Just like let's see, tomorrow's Wednesday. I may call you tomorrow night.
Oh, you call me every night.
No, on Wednesday night he's bowling, and he says, "Why you call me every time I'm bowling? Like, quit calling
No,
me."
she calls me. You know, it's funny. I would love to have this conversation with all age groups because I've started noticing is people who are older than I am are getting used to the telephone, like cell phones. They're getting used to it now. So it's like, and like I'm getting messages from people that are text to read messages or whatever, like the voicemail message to the text message.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to it. I'm like, what's the point of seeing through the text message a voicemail? You know, like, I don't know what they call them, audio messages.
Audio, yeah.
I'm like, why don't you just text? And like that's the whole point of this thing.
Because a text can't say, "You idiot! Why did you?" You can't put that.
I mean,
same...
I get it, but then just call me. But then you always call me. It's like it's kind of like when I was growing up. We would not accept phone calls after 5:30 in the house
Really?
because it's dinner time
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're going down. And I think it's because my dad worked all the time, so he's like, I'm not dealing with this right now
Right.
because they didn't have cell phones back then. So
Right.
so in my mind, anyone calls me past like 6 o'clock that has anything to do with the studio, I'm like, I might answer that, but if I'm bowling, I'm not answering that. But when you call me, I get worried I always get worried about you.
Oh,
'cause,
that's so sweet.
3 times out of 10, you're like, what do you want to have food for tomorrow? I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah, I would love this. Yeah. So I got to answer that. I have to answer those calls.
That's right. See, that's why sometimes it's important. The Houston Rodeo started today.
Yeah.
And
We're out of time, right?
what?
We're out of time. I was giving you the signal.
Okay.
So-
Thank you, Chris Wootton. Thank you for the Wootton Financial Group sponsorship. And we thank you, first responders. We love you so much, and God loves you even more. All right, see ya.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group,